Would you like to go on an adventure of a lifetime?
Yes.
It's a long journey of 7 months. We might have to stay there for the rest of our lives. We cannot pack much. Everything we own will have to fit in a small bag. And we cannot even wash our clothes during the journey. Sadly, there is no laundry service. Confused? We don't have to think about such things when we pack for our holidays. However, this is no ordinary holiday. We are going to Mars. Most of the clothes that we're wearing here today are not suitable for space travel. Only a few clothes are suitable to use inside a spacecraft. This is a world where fashion defies the constraints of gravity. A world where garments have to adapt to your body's and environment's needs in the vast expanse of outer space. As we venture into an era of commercial space travel and think of the possibility of living on Mars, it is crucial to examine every aspect of life beyond our planet's boundaries. Growing up, I was fascinated with space. All I watched was space movies and read space books. But this just remained a fascination, and I pursued another passion of mine, which was fashion. Then, a few years ago, when I realized how much harm just one industry alone could cause to the environment, I decided I could no longer be a part of it. Fashion was the only thing I knew, and space still remained a passion. And so began my journey towards interterrestrial fashion. While researching about spacewear and Mars as a potential destination, I found out that a lot of time and resources have been spent on creating the spacesuit. However, very less time and effort have been spent to consider the characteristics of the outfits to be worn in the interiors of the space vessel. The Martian environment that has its constraints challenges all the concepts and processes that I took for granted in the world of fashion and dressmaking. It takes 7 months to get to space. And unlike Earth, we cannot order clothes or goods online for next day delivery. Given the distance from Earth, every gram of water, soil, every clothing item we would carry would be a huge expense. Currently, NASA astronauts have to pack a limited amount of clothing for their stay at the International Space Station. They pack one polo t-shirt for 15 days and one pair of underwear for every 3 days. Disgusting, right? And when these get dirty, they are packed up and loaded onto an unoccupied cargo spacecraft, which then burns up when it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. Space exploration sector cannot sustain its current pattern of utilizing, disposing, and replenishing resources for extended duration missions. There would be significant logistical challenges this would impose on the mission. This is an opportunity to combine technology and sustainable materials to create unique clothing for the space travelers. This is particularly important as humans might start living on Mars sooner than you think. Elon Musk is planning on sending its first uncrewed mission to Mars in the next 4 years. And by 2029, we might have our first human landing on Mars. This makes it even more important that we carry the right clothes with us in the first place. And we learn those lessons here on Earth before moving to Mars. A few years ago, NASA set up a simulated Martian environment where a crew of 6 astronauts were living and experimenting every day. They were simulating an environment that you would have on Mars, which meant they were completely cut off from the outside world, people, air, food, water, basically everything we take for granted here on Earth. The aim was to identify the minimum amount of materials needed to set up a Martian colony. The crew had been living in the habitat for 80 days, which was the longest anybody had lived in complete isolation. To celebrate this, NASA printed some regular iron-on t-shirts and sent them into an enclosure via an airlock. What happened next was really surprising. Within 24 hours, all the plants that they were successfully growing inside the habitat suddenly died. It took them a while to realize that the iron-on t-shirts that they had worn had released tiny amounts of formaldehyde into the atmosphere that was just enough to knock the balance of the biosphere. Now imagine if this happened on Mars. Humans will have no food to eat. This is happening here on Earth every day. Earth's atmosphere is much bigger compared to that of the Martian habitat. But it doesn't change the fact that it is slowly absorbing the release of these chemicals, but there would be a day when this is no longer possible. Our interstellar wardrobe must be made of the right materials. They must be robust so that they can be long-lasting and multifunctional to reduce the need of carrying multiple outfits to space. My research gave me an opportunity to start thinking about exactly this. I got the opportunity to work on Britain's first Martian habitat called Building a Martian House project. Here's me right in the middle with artists Ella Good and Nikki Kent, who created a real working prototype of a house that could be built on Mars. This was based here in Bristol, and I was leading the textiles and clothing for this project. The house started as an empty structure. We transformed the house using DIY experiments, concepts, processes, and sustainable clothing and textiles. With the soon arrival of commercial space travel, spacesuits are going to be marketed as bespoke couture. And we will have to carry everything with us. It would be a while before we would actually be able to have our first made-on-Mars garment. Imagine if the person sat next to you wore the exact same outfit as you're wearing today. How would you feel? Now, imagine everywhere you see, every person you see is wearing the exact same outfit as you. That might be a bit weird, right? And we wouldn't want that happening on Mars as well. So, I created personalized multifunctional flight suits that converted into sleeping bags and clothes to be worn in the interiors of the space vessel. On Mars, every resource is going to be valuable. Nothing can be wasted. To create textiles that were mattresses, curtains, bed sheets, pillows for the Martian house, I used natural fibers such as cotton and linen. To create prints and patterns on them, I used food waste and plants that were hydroponically growing inside the house. When these fabrics would get old on Mars, they will have to be mended or converted into something else. We won't have the option to buy new. Growing up in an Indian household, sustainable practices were very common. You buy something new, it's your going out outfit. Then it becomes your home outfit. And then it becomes your pajamas. Then one day you notice that it's suddenly become a duster to clean the dusty parts of the house. This value of finding use in everything we own inspired me to create clothing and textiles for the Martian habitat. Space travelers would need everyday clothing when they go to Mars, but they would also need clothes for special occasions such as birthdays, weddings, parties. they might probably only have space to carry one such outfit. So, I created an outfit that could change its shape with the help of technology to become a new garment for the next occasion. With this work, I addressed the problems of carrying multiple outfits to space while envisioning a future where a single garment can serve multiple purposes. Imagine the convenience of wearing one outfit that seamlessly transforms into a casual ensemble or even to a sleepwear, all in response to your clothing needs. Now, some of you might be thinking, space exploration might be a few years away. So why are we thinking about this right now? We need to be innovative in order to prepare for a journey to Mars. But this approach can also help us right now. We sometimes feel that we have infinite amount of resources here on Earth. But we do not. Having a lot of something is not the same as having an infinite amount of something. We need to use the resources wisely and live more efficiently. This is especially true for clothing, as fast fashion is one of the biggest polluters and wasters of resources. Imagine if we all had just a few durable, multi-purpose outfits that would last us for years, that were also made from sustainable and recycled materials, but still looked and felt great. Did you know that the idea of creating sustainable technologies for space that then get used here on Earth is not a new one? The development of LED lights was refined during the space research program so that the astronauts did not have to worry about changing light bulbs frequently. They release no heat and last longer compared to the regular lights. They're now widely used here on Earth and are better for the environment. Similarly, shoe insoles, smoke detectors, tap water filters, scratch-resistant lenses, memory foam mattresses were all designed for space first and are now improving our everyday life on Earth and are helping us improve the environment. My work represents a convergence of two worlds, where the infinite possibilities of space exploration intersect with sustainable practices that have been followed for generations. By creating shape-changing garments with the use of advanced technology, I strive to provide the future space travelers with an efficient, versatile, and a sustainable wardrobe. In doing so, we not only pioneer our way towards space exploration, but also inspire a revolution in how we live on Earth, inspiring a more conscious environment for the future generations to come. Thank you.